All right, the Chicago Cubs take another series, this time against the Detroit Tigers in Motor City. How about Yan Gomes? Hit the Yan. A clutch hit puts the Cubs on top for good. Chicago ends up winning 6-4. The Arizona Diamondbacks winning a lot of games too. We'll get into that in a second, Mick. But let's start with what we just saw. Candelario, a big hit. The Candyman. Ian Happ got on base and scored a run. Taillon was flirting with perfection until the broadcaster's jinx came into play. But let's start it in the ninth inning. When the Cubs win this game, Yan Gomes, how about he?
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, every time he gets up there, it's like you feel like he's going to do something. He's such a likable guy and a clubhouse leader. The Cubs needed him today. And when you look at great teams, it's not the same guy every day. It's someone that you don't expect on days like this. They had the 4-0 lead. Then they blew it. But then they came right back and they score and they get the insurance and they win the ball game. And I'll tell you what, man, this was a really important win for the Cubs against the team and a series that you really have to beat and win.
Taillon, the starter in today's game, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts. I think half of the world, half of Cubs fans, the broadcaster's jinx. They did it. They took a page from Boog's book. I was there too with my mother and father-in-law. Yeah, we were talking about the game and just the word perfect, the word no hitter. It came out of the mouth at some point, maybe 4 2/3 in. So I digress personally, but the broadcaster's jinx always comes into play. It wasn't just a hit. It was a grand salami.
Look, there's two rules of thought on this, okay? First off is the Mel Allen school of thought on play-by-play. He was the longtime voice of the Yankees, one of the first guys in the Hall of Fame, actually was the first broadcaster in the Hall of Fame, and an Alabama grad, like your boy. And what he said was, I'm doing it like I'm in the dugout, which is pretty much what I do when I'm doing play-by-play. I'm going to be clever with the way that I'm saying it, but if one guy is pitching a no-hitter, not one of those group deals that they have now or 4 guys do it, one guy, you wouldn't say anything to him in the dugout, and like Mel, you don't say it. You just don't. But to defend Boog, the other guy that got into the Hall of Fame with Mel Allen was Red Barber. And I heard Boog say Vince Scully, who Red Barber trained, right? He's the guy that like mentored him. And the way that Red saw it is that your job is that of a reporter. And, you know, of course, he's from New York, Boog. Him and like most of the marquee, you know, upper echelon guys, they're all from New York. And that's the other New York guy.
Right? It's the storyline of the game.
New York guys. So you got the one guy that's doing the Yankees. It says, hey, you're in the dugout. You don't say it. You might jinx them. And then you got the other guy from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, that's like, no, it's a news report. And then when that happens, you're the jinx of it. At least that's, you know, what people say. But look, Boog didn't throw any of those pitches, so he's not a jinx.
Taillon, thoughts on his outing overall?
I'm educating everyone on the history of broadcasting.
That's today. What you do, Mick. You go back into the 60s and you go deep into the well.
Deep, baby.
Well before your time. And that's what doesn't make sense.
Yeah, look, I'm a historian of this game. So I love the game and I love being a historian of it. But Jameson today, I thought for the first 5 innings, looked the best that he has since New York. And then, you know, things got away from him in the 6th. He really just made one pitch. You know, the 3-1 pitch with the bases loaded and 2 outs, the one you take back. And, you know, the other broadcaster jinx was JD goes, you don't want to leave this one. You don't want to walk a guy, but and then bang, a home run. But he's been around the game a long time. I love JD. And so that's how it went down. So the Cubs got their 4, and then the Tigers got all 4 of theirs on one swing.
So Cubs end up winning it. Ian Happ played a part in that. Let's just go down the list. Not the Taillon. Ian Happ in the 3-hole. Dots. He's been slumping. Candelario has been slumping, who we'll get to in just a second. You mentioned it yesterday that really the only uber consistent hitters on this team, for that matter, Cody Bellinger and lately Seiya Suzuki. Aside from that, Dansby's had his moments mixed in here and there, but he'll go a couple games without a hit. So need some consistency. And Ian Happ, is he getting it done right now in the 3-hole?
No. And a lot of people in the comment section, and you guys just keep commenting, we love hearing from you, but have mentioned that Ian Happ needs to get out of the 3-hole. Maybe once you bring up, Pete Crow Armstrong, you let him play a little bit of left field and spell, Ian Happ. And there's some news on that front that we can get into later, because Jordan Wicks was scratched from his AAA start today. And I think that there's a reason for that. I think that him and Hollywood are going to come at the same time. Once you're allowed to expand the roster.
Package deal. Okay, a little package deal.
Bring them both. No, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Maybe you may as well sell the press release, right? Get them on there at the same time. The future is here. Bang.
Yeah. And so I'd pay attention to that Reds series. But the way that Drew Smiley pitched yesterday, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. He gave up 7 runs. Everything looks so hard for him. Leaves pitches out over the plate. He's such a different guy now than he was at the beginning of the season. He looks tired. They're all over him. So hopefully Jordan Wicks is a guy that can come up and, expand that rotation. I would love to see Smiley out of the rotation and back in the bullpen. And I wrote on one of the comments, in the minor leagues, when you struggle like he's struggling, they put you on something called the development list, and that's where you go and work through your issues. Now, I'd be fine with that too. They don't have that in the major leagues, but anything to get him back on track again, because the Cubs could certainly use a starter. But right now, he's just not an answer. He's part of the problem.
In terms of the lineup, if you were David Ross for a day, and let's say you did bring up Pete Crow Armstrong, and you personally, if you were David Ross, you'd probably slate him in there at the leadoff spot. How would you change up this lineup, whether it's moving Dansby up to maybe the 2, Bellinger sticking with the 4? How would you reorganize the furniture on this deck?
All right, look, I would say Nico Hoerner leads off, and then possibly Pete Crow Armstrong second, or in the 9 spot, just depending, how you want to throw him into the fire. But Nico's just been so good in the leadoff spot, or him or Mike Tauchman. But you could put him in the leadoff spot too. I'm going Nico 1. I'm going Hollywood Pete 2, Dansby 3, Bellinger 4, Suzuki 5, the Candyman going with him 6, Gomes 7th. And then who would I put in the 8th spot? Maybe
I put Tauchman in 9, right? A little pesky 9 hitter, Mike Tauchman.
Yeah, maybe. Because I guess I got Bellinger at first and Candy over at 3rd. Yeah, so that would be fine. And
Morel. Morel.
Yeah, maybe Morel, where if he can strike out, 3 times and hit a home run, and it really doesn't affect things. I don't know. Maybe depending on the matchup, maybe you put Wisdom in there as well. Those all or nothing guys. But you can do a lot more with the lineup with Pete Crow Armstrong at the top, I think, or in the 9th spot where it's like he's that second leadoff guy.
All right, so I got on Jeimer Candelario's splits today to check everything out. 235 with 3 RBI over the last 2 weeks. This is after he came, was traded to the Cubs from the Washington Nationals and started off 8 for his first 9 with the Cubbies. Since then, not good. As I mentioned, the 235, just 1 for his last 13. Jeimer today gets a big double. Thoughts on Jeimer Candelario?
I've loved watching him. The way that he's able to play the corner spots. I like him better at 3rd than 1st, but if you put, Belly in center, then you got to have him at 1st because they don't have, any other options there. So he's been able to do both of those. But I mean, look, you gave up a pretty good player to get him. And, just to give you guys an idea, the numbers on DJ Hers, who the Cubs traded in his last couple of starts. and you're going to hear this guy in the big leagues, and you're going to be like, hey, wait a second. 13 and 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 20 strikeouts. This guy's going to be a big league starter. So you gave up a lot to get him, but I think that he's done a nice job of doing what the Cubs ask him to do. He's come up with some big hits, not just today, but really in this entire series.
All right, the schedule moving forward stays easy for a bit entering Milwaukee. So we are how many games into this gauntlet? And I say gauntlet with the air quotes because obviously it's a cakewalk. They started off 2 with the White Sox. Then they went on to the Royals for 3. Then it's why don't you just pull it up? 3 for the Tigers. My memory's still decent. I'm eating enough egg whites or whatever they say helps your cognitive skills. So yeah, the Tigers, and then it's 4 against the Pirates. So
yeah.
So at this point, that's back-to-back series wins for the Cubs. You wish, and we were talking about this the other day, you hope at some point they can pull out a sweep against one of these bad teams. How nice would it be to do it against Pittsburgh entering the Brewers series? Now, 4-game sweep, easier said than done, but it is Pittsburgh. Very, very plausible there. But 4-2 over the last 2 series against bad teams, I think you would take that.
I mean, you don't have enough starting pitching to sweep these teams. When you're throwing Drew Smiley out there and he's given up 7 runs, and it's not like the other starters have been lights out. I mean, look today, Taillon went out there and did, 5 no-hit innings and then fell apart. So it's one of those deals where the starting pitching has got to be really good to sweep any teams. And these teams all have players. The Tigers just couldn't catch the ball. I mean, how bad was that defense that they were throwing out there? Yikes. But now you take on the Pirates, another team that struggled. And if the Cubs could just get, and I don't know how many times we've thought that this year, but if they just got good starting pitching, they would win. And that's been the case. But they're overcoming mediocre to bad starting pitching and winning.
Yeah, it's no doubt time for Jordan Wicks. Sam Valenti makes the thumbnails. It's a brainstorming process where we throw out some ideas. We're like, all right, what are some good pop culture references? What relates to this? What movie quote can work for that? And it's a brainstorming. We're not taking any credit for being the brains, but Sam Valenti's the one that puts them together because he's Gen Z and he knows Photoshop better than Mick and myself. So even though I did that for an entire summer for the Tennessee Smokies, somewhere my skills along the way have fallen off tremendously. But where was I going with this, Mick? I mean, Christ, I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah, you started to drift out to sea, and
you saw it in my eyes. You're like halfway through here. We're losing Chuck. The sea's getting rocky. It's just pulling him out. The waves are taking him.
He's one of those segments that could be cut.
He doesn't know what's going on in his head.
He loves to cut things out of the show. This could be one of those. I guess what you're saying is that you need a thumbnail for Jordan Wicks.
Yes, that's what I was saying. And it's going to be the Dr. Evil. Come here. It's going to say, we need you, Wicks. It's time, because it's time for Jordan Wicks, it seems.
Yeah, man. Well, let's hope he's ready to go. Like I said yesterday, it's a first pitch, second pitch. If he can stay ahead of guys, then he's going to be all right. And from what I understand, it's his birthday too, or maybe yesterday was. So this could be a really good birthday for him rolling into Chicago. I don't think they'll make any of these moves until after the Pirates series. I think you get back home to Wrigley, and that's when you debut guys, unless you really have to on the road, just because you just love having all the stuff that's at home for them when they come up. Yeah. So I'm excited about the Brewers series. I'm excited about the Red series and the stretch run.
All right.
Well, hold on. Let me talk about one more thing. I want to hold the suspense. I see the Bulls hat. I got to talk about the White Sox before we go to the ball giveaway. And I've got the Rhino ball right here, and someone's going to get this mailed to him. Ryne Sandberg signed this for me personally. So this isn't coming from where he signed a million things and you're just getting, I saw him sign this. This is a official ball. I handed him, he signed it, and you're getting it. Special to me. The White Sox fired their front office, their president and their GM. They have had one of the worst organizations in baseball, and they're going to try to turn it around. I saw the minor league system, and it has just been atrocious. Some of the stuff that they've done, you just scratch your head for the last few years. It's been, not so good. So interested to see who gets that job, because Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the White Sox, is one of the best guys to work for because he never fires anybody. So this is a rarity. But I thought it was ironic that on the same exact day that the news story was the White Sox are thinking about moving to Tennessee or somewhere else in Chicago, that they want out of the Southside when their contract is up. I mean, think about the potential if this happens. And I'm not pulling for this. I love the fact that there are two major league teams in the city. I mean, you come to town, and if the Cubs are gone, you can go see the Sox, or, you have that really cool rivalry. I don't know if this is a smoke and mirrors type thing to try to get a new stadium or something done with the stadium. Their stadium seems to be pretty nice, and it's not that old. Or if this has something to do with the location and some of the other stuff going on in the city right now. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, didn't the Bears just buy land outside of the city? And how crazy would this be to have, two of the major league teams leave the city for all intents and purposes? I mean, even though they're still there, but just to get out of that area. So I'm curious to see what happens with this. I can't even think that they would really move to Nashville, but Nashville is going to be a great city for a major league team. I just figured it would be expansion.
Hey man, Nashville is one of those
hot.
3-4 cities. Yeah, it's hot. It's been growing for a minute now. Austin's the same way. Those damn yuppies. All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, as you pull the name, and you pull it, get it ready. Show it up.
By the way, I was with a at the wedding that I was telling you about, that I'm still, it's a couple days later and I'm just moving a little bit slow. That's what happens when you get older and you hit the yawn on the dance floor, as they say. But yeah, let's get to this, baby.
No, what are you talking about? All right, well, what I wanted to say before you pulled the name is I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for our entire crew. I envisioned doing this channel, and I wanted to come directly to Cubs fans with it. And it's been great working with Tim and Chuck and Sam and all of you guys. And we got some more really cool stuff coming up. But thank you so much for helping us get over 1,000. Thank you for watching the videos and commenting and being part of our community. And we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. So please share. Please tell your friends about it, and go Cubs. I mean, since we came on, someone told me today, since we came on the air, guess what? The Cubs have been hot. We came on thinking that we were going to talk trades. He said, hey, you must be the good luck charm. So maybe I am.
Well, Mick, if they would have sold all the players,
I'm just kidding.
I know that, but if they would have sold all the players a month ago or so, like you said, that 1.12 that we have, or whatever it may be when you're watching this, would be at probably 215 subscribers. So a little luck involved, but it's the Cubs doing it for us.
Guys. And love you guys. Yeah. Love the Cubs.
Jay Mutiny is one of the contestants here. Jordan Smith, another. Craig Brendel, and we have OG down the line. So those are the
love OG
names.
Down the line. What's up, dude?
OG down the line.
Craig,
how we doing,
Craig,
my guy?
Every day, man. We appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
Craig,
and we're gonna have
Cubs.
We're gonna have. He's the Go Cubs guy. We're gonna have more of these. I got bobbleheads to give away. You didn't hit 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 views on the other video to qualify for Nico. So we'll do it again sometime down the line. I got Christopher Morel as well. So what I'll do is that we'll put the contest rules in the body of the description, and then you guys, most of it's going to be, hey, we need 1,000 views. We can't give out a prize if we don't get to 1,000. And that's more of a Chuck and Mick thing than you guys. All right, let's give it away.
All right, here we go. This is going to be the most energy I have all show, folks, because I have been struggling with it today. Sometimes in life, you don't get a lot of sleep the night before, but the show goes on. And here goes the ball. It's like the sisterhood of the traveling pants. This time a ball is going to one lucky Cubs fan, and that winner is.
Okay, just read it for us. We can't see it. I can't.
It's Craig Brendel. Go
Craig! Man, if anyone's worked harder for that, I don't know. Thank you, all you guys, though. And look, you're back in the running for something else. We got something really big kind of on the horizon as well that we're working on. Don't give them any details. But right back in for the next thing. And congratulations, Craig.
How do we give this thing out to Craig? Do we get an email?
Just got to message him. Yeah, we'll get his address and I'll
okay. I didn't know YouTube had direct messages. All right, all good. The Sam will get us in touch. The millennials and the boomers will be good. You're not a boomer, Mick. What are we talking about? All right, good show, everyone.
Go Cubs.